The next tool we're going to cover is mirror. There's two types of mirror. Mirror about an axis and mirror about an axis that you will define by drawing. Okay, so let's take a look at that. I have here my desk. Let me rotate it. Okay, and then I'm just going to move it off to the side over here. Okay, so I want to mirror this desk over to this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my tool first, and then I'm going to use this tool first. Pick axis. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to need to pick the axis where this object can be mirrored to. So I'm going to use this wall as my axis, so pick, and then that desk is being mirrored to the other side. Equal distance between here to here and there to there. Okay, get rid of that. So that's by mirror by pick axis. So select the tool, pick the axis, and it's mirrored. By default, the mirror in the options bar right here, by default it's a copy. You would mirror copy. But if you didn't want to create a copy, if you just wanted to mirror it, move to the other side, then you would uncheck this box right here. So then what we're going to do now is we're going to mirror about this point, and it mirror moves that object to the other side. Okay, let's look at the other one, mirror draw axis. Okay, so once I have my object selected, I select the tool, and then I'm going to draw the axis. Let's say I'm going to draw in this direction, so it's going to mirror it over to the other side. Or if I click this one and then draw the axis, and let's say I want to mirror it, that would be my axis, it'll mirror around that point. Now it doesn't have to mirror vertically or horizontally. You can also mirror using a diagonal. For example, let's say I want to do that. I want to do a mirror on an axis as on an angle. So it does that. Okay? So there's different ways to use the mirror tool. And same thing with this one. In the options, oh, I need to select my tool first there. By default, copy is turned on. If you wanted to mirror move, then it'll move it that way. Try that again. Mirror move, define my axis, and it'll move it to the other side. Okay, so that's mirror. And then offset. Let me get rid of these. The offset tool, which is right here. Okay, I'm going to create an offset of this wall. So I select my wall, click on the offset tool, and I'm going to tell it I want to offset this this wall, I don't know, 2 feet. And by default, it's the copy is checked. So that means that when I select this wall, notice that I get that temporary dash line. It's going to copy it to that side. There. But if I move my mouse to the left side of that wall, notice that I get the temporary line on that side. So depending on what side your mouse is selecting on the wall, that's where it's going to place it. So if I click on this side, it's going to offset copy 2 feet, because that's what I told it, to that side. And then you can keep on going as many times as you want until you hit the escape button to get out of that command. Let's look at it again. Click on the object, offset. By default, copy is set, and let's say I want 4 feet. Hover over the wall that I want to offset, and make sure you point to the right side that you want to offset to. In this case, I'm going to go down, so I'm going to offset to this side. 1, 2. Now it's telling me I got a conflict because it's right in the middle of a door. So it's okay, I'm just going to get rid of that door. Okay, so offset. Offset copy, you can also offset move. Select my wall, offset. I want to offset 4 feet, but I don't want to copy, I want to move. So I uncheck that, and then I'm going to offset move to this side or to the other side, and I can keep on going however many times you want until you hit the escape on the keyboard. Okay, let's look at pin and unpin. That's right here, these two, pin and unpin. All these walls that I have, and even doors and windows, they're movable. They can be adjusted. But let's say in the process of building your project and you have all these walls, and for example, the exterior walls, let's say, I've defined the perimeter of my walls and I don't want to move them anymore. That's the exact size I want. What you can do is you can select those walls or components and tell it I'm going to pin. So I've selected my walls first and then pin. Notice that I get these little icons that looks like a thumbtack or a pin. So that's telling me that these walls are pinned and you can no longer move these walls. Well, I don't know what happened there, but let me undo. So if I try to move that wall, it's not letting me. So in other words, if I drag this one, that one is not pinned, so I'm able to move it. But this wall, since it's pinned, I can't move or do anything to it. If you wanted to unpin it, just click on the icon. Now it's unpinned, and now that wall is, you can adjust it again. So pin and unpinned. Or you can use this the unpin command to completely take off that option, so you can no longer pin or unpin using the little icon. Alright, so same thing with doors, that's adjustable, but you can pin that one down so that you can no longer move it. It stays in that spot. The wall moves, but the door doesn't move. Let me see what happens. What happens if I do that? The door moves to the wall, but I can't move it either to the left or to the right along that wall. So that's how you use the pin command. Scaling elements. Okay. Let's see, how do we use scale? Let's say I have, well, let me think about it first. Okay, so the scale command, the scale is limiting or scaling, modify scale. The scale command is limited to walls, lines, or images like JPEGs, and that's pretty much it. So for example, if we have walls, I'm going to select all these 4 walls, and I wanted to scale the size to something bigger. I would select my walls first and then click on the scale tool, and I'm going to pick my first point, and I'm going to pick my second point, and then I'm going to drag. Notice how the proportion is being kept, and click my third point, and then those walls got a lot bigger, or that boundary got a whole lot bigger. So let's take a look at it again. Move these out of the way. So I'm gonna select my walls, and I'm gonna hit the scale. I pick my origin point, I click my second point, and then I'm just dragging. Let's say I want to go all the way over there, click, and then it enlarges the size of that boundary that I created. Now over here I have lines. This is not a 3D component, it's just 2D lines. So the scale command also works for that one. So I would pick one point, second point, and then enlarge it or scale it up like that. It doesn't have to be a rectangle, it can just be a regular line. Scale, origin point, second point, and then enlarge. But in a situation like this, when you have a single line, you can just use the grip and enlarge it or reduce the size however you want. Same thing with a JPEG image. If you have something that you import in, you can use the scale button, pick a start point, your second point, and then the proportion is kept, and your third point sets the scale size that you selected. Also, in any JPEG image, you get 4 corners with grip. So the other way, easier way to do it is just select the grip and let go, and there you go. Okay, the last tool we're going to cover on chapter 5 of our books is the measuring distance. And that one is right here under the Modify tab, Measure Distance. Okay, all it is a tape measure where you pick 2 points and it gives you the distance between those 2 points. So you select 1 point, 2 points, and it is 10 foot 6.5. Again, I select 1 point, second point, and here I have 9.5 and some fraction. 1 point, second point, and it tells me the distance. That's all you can do with it. There's nothing else. So it just gives you a visual distance of between 2 points that you select. And that covers the editing tools in chapter 5.